Will the FBI provide to Congress the full file with no redactions of personal identifiable information?
I cannot make that commitment sitting here today.
Then I'm going to issue a subpoena, and I'm going to do it right now. So let's go. I've signed this subpoena. We want all the 302s, and we would like the full file. You can accept service on behalf of the FBI?
Certainly.
You are hereby served.
That was the chairman of the House Oversight Committee serving a subpoena to the FBI in dramatic fashion on Monday as Congress looks into how the feds handled Mrs. Clinton's email investigation and whether they've been forthcoming with congressional investigators looking into it. But the story did not end there. Joining us now, live tonight, Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz, chairman of the Oversight Committee. Great to see you, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So that was an attempt to get the FBI to give you an unvarnished look at the interview and the notes and who they talked to. But today you had a beef with this guy, Brian Pagliano, who set up the private server in Mrs. Clinton's New York residence, who you served a subpoena to come testify in front of you, and he blew you off.
We sent him a second subpoena also to provide us the document that he supposedly got from the FBI that gave him immunity. He also blew that off. And you know what? Subpoenas are not optional in this country. You have to comply with them.
Why wouldn't he want to appear before you?
I don't know. That's why you give people an opportunity. That we can investigate anything at any time. It's how we do the checks and balances in this country. It's why we have the subpoena power to compel people to come before Congress. Sometimes they talk, sometimes they plead the fifth. But you've got to provide that opportunity, and I expect them to show up.
Now, they say, the Democrats on the committee say, you are trying to harass him. You're trying to humiliate him. That's what his lawyers said, too, that this is only a political show, and you're trying to drag this guy before you who's already asserted that he wants to exercise his Fifth Amendment rights.
No, we have a constitutional duty to also provide oversight of the executive branch. This is one of the largest security breaches in the history of the United States State Department. Classified information that could get people killed. Of course, we're going to talk to the very person who essentially pulled the trigger, used the bleach bit, and tried to destroy documents that were under subpoena. Of course, we got questions for him.
Julie Roginski's here, and I want to get to her in 1 second. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
She's with us, Fox News contributor, Democratic analyst. Yes, go ahead. Say it loud, say it proud.
Thank
That's
you.
how I feel, too.
What a welcome.
But before we get to you, I want to ask you whether this is going anywhere, right? Because this is, like, what is it all going to amount to? Because you're trying to talk to the people who set up the server, and you're trying to talk to the FBI. But the FBI has already issued its ruling. She's not going to be indicted.
But people have to remember that when Director Comey came before the Oversight Committee, he also said he looked at nothing that Hillary Clinton said under oath. And it also looked at all the things that Congress has asked for that haven't been provided.
So he wasn't looking into whether she lied to you, but you are looking into that.
Yes.
Julie, what say you?
Well, I say, look, I understand you're exercising both your right as a congressman and your right as a partisan politician to make hay out of a political issue, but you know he's going to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights. So the whole purpose of this theater is to drag him up to the Hill. We've seen it done by both parties. It's not just limited to what you're doing. Drag him up to the Hill, make him invoke his Fifth Amendment rights. Once again, say somebody under Hillary Clinton's auspices invoke their Fifth Amendment rights, and you get applauded by the conservative base, and we all go on with our lives. And that's what this is about. I mean, look, I'm not a lawyer, but it's very obvious to me that this person is not going to testify. You know it. Your fellow members of the Oversight Committee know it, and yet you're asking him to do this purely for the political theater. The political consultant in me applauds you. But the person who pays taxes in this country says, why are you wasting taxpayer money on an outcome that you know is going to end up being what it said it's going to be?
You don't actually know if they're going to do that until they actually get there. I want to hear it from him himself. He also has immunity, so I want to look at that document. It begs the question,
does he have immunity from all committees and in all circumstances?
I want it. That's what I'm going to ask him. I mean, that's partly what you need to ask these witnesses. You can't just say, well, nobody's going to want to talk to us because it's going to be inconvenient, and just let it go. If you get into that game of just saying, hey, you can just blow off the Congress, you don't need to show up, nobody's going to show up.
Before we go, is this hurting her? Because her numbers are falling, and it's the email scandal that we hear about day after day.
Her numbers are falling not necessarily because of this. Her numbers are falling over the last several days, and you know why. She had this horrible health incident. She's been off the trail. Trump has had the field to himself. Let's see what happens after next Monday's debate and where those numbers are. But I will say to this congressman, if you heard from his lawyer tomorrow that he's going to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights, would you still beg him to testify? Would you still insist that he testify?
He needs to come and testify.
We'll have to leave it at that. Great to see you both. Up next, Donald Trump on Jimmy Fallon, and we have a clip.